What is the idea of avatars? Now, it's not avatars, the airbender. I see they're using that. But avatars have been around in professional marketing for a long time. And the idea is to try and discover who your ideal reader is. Now, the purpose of doing this is to focus your marketing and your activities on the ideal reader.
Hello, everyone. April Cox here with a fantastic mastermind session coming up with Laurence O'Brien from Books Go Social. He is one of my favorite partners that I've reached out to. We're going to talk about, and when I think about Books Go Social, I think marketing and all of the things that they help us with marketing. So we are going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about engaging with and understanding your primary audience. So let me tell you a little bit about Laurence. I connected with him probably, a few years ago, reaching out to try to learn. And I had caught an episode of some training that he was doing at Books Go Social. So I reached out to him because I was so impressed with the vast amount of services and things that they do and talk about with regard to book marketing. He's also one of the few that I've ever recommended for Amazon ads. And I am just so grateful. He has become a confidant, a collaborator, and one of my favorite guests. So I just want to say thank you, Laurence, for being here. Let me go ahead and put a little bit of a spotlight on you. And I'd love to give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background, and then we can jump right into the presentation for today.
April, that's wonderful. That's so nice. Everything you say and your support and your engagement and your feedback on what we're doing always is really interesting and really important to us. So thank you. And everybody, hello. I'm speaking to you from Dublin in Ireland, which is amazing, the technology thing we have. Now, most of our clients are across the United States, and I speak at festivals across the United States, including Writer's Digest, and I've spoken live in a couple of California and Key West. That was fun. And I've spoken at a whole variety of festivals across the United States, and our clients are across the United States. And my background is marketing. So I was in high-tech marketing. I worked for Commodore, you might remember them. Now we're talking 30 years ago. So I was sales and marketing. I did a master's in marketing, more than 30 years ago. So I was always interested in how to sell things, high-tech marketing and getting sales. The simple thing about marketing of getting sales, can we increase our sales? What marketing tactics can we use to increase our sales? So Books Go Social was started just over 10 years ago. And the reason I started is because I was published by HarperCollins. They published 3 books, very nice. They published 3 books over a couple of years, and I accumulated a big following on social media. And what happened then was for about a year, I provided free opportunities for authors, put their books up on our website, and then decided to turn it into a service. And that Books Go Social service ended up doing ads because I was familiar with the whole process of advertising, and particularly trying to focus on services that actually generate sales. Now, there are lots of things we can do online, but I'm interested in what is it that can drive sales. So the reason I'm coming back to this avatars session today is about trying to help both ourselves as a company and the people we work with to focus. Now, I've got a new book that's come out, and you're going to see some of the data about that as well at the end of this session as an example. But I'm really interested in this idea of using professional marketing ideas in book marketing. Now, we know that big publishers, HarperCollins, Random House, Simon & Schuster, they have professional marketing people. They have teams of people talking about a particular book. I don't know what book yours is, but if it's a children's book they're launching, they're going to have a team of people who've been through the MBA style training, marketing training, who know about avatars, who know about persuasion techniques. So what we're doing here is bringing that type of professional marketing tactics to book marketing. Yes, we can do the ads, we can do the other things, but this is about focusing. That's a little bit about me, my background, and I'm going to go straight into the session. Okay, so this was the first slide, which is leveraging avatars and book marketing, which I've covered. Here we go. What is the idea of avatars? Now, it's not avatars, the airbender. I see they're using that. But avatars have been around in professional marketing for a long time. And the idea is to try and discover who your ideal reader is. So we identify target reader characteristics. Now, the purpose of doing this is to focus your marketing and your activities on the ideal reader. So in marketing for technology and a lot of other companies, they'll be doing this. They'll be drawing up and writing. It could be a multi-page profile of the avatar, the ideal reader. What I'd like you to do is to consider and to write down or make it as part of a plan to consider the age, the gender, the location, the interests, the reading habits, and where they spend their time online. One of the most important aspects of this is about when we think about who we're going to market our book to. Do you have in your mind a lot of diverse groups of people, these sort of people and that sort of people? Or are you thinking about your ideal reader, who that ideal reader will be? So the reason for doing this is that if we focus on the ideal reader and all of the people who follow the characteristics of an ideal reader, we're more likely to have a high conversion rate. Now, we're all interested in conversion rates. If we reach 1,000 people and we get 100 people to convert, that's reasonably good. If we reach 1,000 ideal readers and we get 250 people to convert because they're ideal readers, both our time and our investment in ads is going to get a better return. So the return on investment increases. And that's why professional marketing people are using this idea of avatars. We're going to explore a lot more in this. So how do we use it? One of the things we can do is research current market trends. So this is always a good idea, investigating which books are popular among your target readers. So you can decide that an ideal comp author, comparable author, competitive author. A comp author is an author who writes books that are similar to yours, and you can look at their books on Amazon or in the bookstore if you have a local bookstore, and you can investigate which books are popular for your target readers. So which are the books that your target readers are going to be buying? You really should know this well. You should have, here's 2 or 3. I know their names. I know exactly what they're selling. I know what their books look like. I know what their covers look like. I know what themes they're using within their books. I know what their interiors look like. So this is detailed research into the other books that your avatar are likely to be reading. This is great for determining a lot of things in relation not just to your advertising, but how you pitch your book in general. What is your website going to look like? What is the tone of your remarks on social media? Once you find out who those target comp authors are, you can then go and look them up on Facebook, on Instagram, on if they're on Twitter or if they're on another service. And you can start thinking about that gives you indicators of where your target readers are. So if they're not doing anything on Twitter, they're not these comp authors, if they're not doing anything on TikTok, if they're doing most of their work on Facebook and Instagram, that gives you clues as to what you should be focusing on, because your target readers are likely to be engaging with those comp authors on those sites. So understanding the comp authors and where they are online is really important. It gives you indicators of what you should be doing. So you don't have to spread yourself out to all the different social media sites just because there are so many of them now. You can really target tightly, and you can have a similar tone. You can find out how often your comp authors are posting on Facebook or Instagram. You can see what type of content they're posting and what type of engagement they're getting. So you start to understand why those comp authors are posting on Facebook or Instagram, or if they're posting on TikTok or Twitter or some other location, why they are doing it and what they're doing. So you get a clear understanding of what your comp authors are doing, which is part of your avatar targeting. So we also use tools, obviously Amazon bestseller lists. When you're looking at comp authors, please focus on ones that are currently high selling. So we're looking at authors who are in the top 10,000, who are selling reasonably well, or in your particular subgenre, the ones who are the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, who are actually selling now. There's not a lot of point in looking back at authors who sold well 10 years ago because things have moved on. They may not be engaging on social media. Their ideal readers have moved on. What you want is the ideal avatar readers now, what they're buying now. If you're close to a bookstore, you can go into one of those. If you're part of any literary blogs, if you're doing anything on any of the main blogging sites or Goodreads, you're following all that, you can identify trends. And one of the interesting things also to identify is themes in the presentation of these books. So we're going to go into more detail on themes, what that means. What are the authors using as the themes to engage with their readers? So we look at recurring themes. So for instance, a theme, you might be writing epic Western romances or a thrilling small town mystery, or you might be writing about Christmas heroes or strange fantasy worlds. So you can look at other authors who are writing in these, using these themes, and you can identify other aspects of what they're using to pull the readers in. We're going to go into more detail on that. So that's the basic of finding your target reader avatar and the basics of understanding that process. Hopefully you get my slide 2 now. So we're now looking at crafting your marketing tactics from your basic research into your comps and your ideal reader. So we're looking for theme overlaps. This is the idea of, you'll find that within that Western romance or Christmas heroes, you'll find that they're using themes within that in their text description or in the cover to pull people into the book. And you might find that there are similar things that you're using, similar aspects and themes to your story that you're using. So this is an overlap between ones that you're using and ones that these major comp authors are using. So you identify where the themes in your book overlap with those popular among your ideal readers. You can create ad and book description text, and you can change your book description to focus more clearly on the same things that the top selling authors are using to sell your book. We're going to have examples of that. Some examples here are the strong woman main character, court politics. I'm taking this from an example I'm going to show later. Dangerous secrets, catastrophe. If you read a book description online, could be a children's book description, you're looking at a competitor's book description. Typically, you can feel something inside which makes you want to buy the book. So I'd like to highlight those things, those compelling themes within a book description that tell me I'd really like to read this book. I like to read about strong women main characters. So this can compel you to buy a book without knowing much more about it. You can simply see in the top of the description a strong woman main character, or something about politics that you may be interested in, or something about dangerous secrets. If you like that idea about dangerous secrets, you can buy a book on impulse after only reading a couple of lines which tell you this book is full of dangerous secrets. That can be enough for you to make an impulse decision to buy a book. You don't need to know much more. You can see that the cover's good. You can see that this got reviews. You can see all the other things are in place. And then the theme appeals to you. Okay, so look at the themes that other authors, comp authors to you, comparable authors to you, high-selling ones are using. We also use this idea to design impactful ad images. If you're drawn to a strong woman main character, when you buy a book, if you're drawn to that as a theme within the book, and your book has the same theme, a strong woman main character, then you're likely to want to use that in the image for your ads. Now, one of the things that's helping us with this, we don't use AI for writing books at all. I've got to tell you, it's really bad. I've looked at how AI creates stories, and they're really, really bad. Really, I'm talking worse than grade, the lowest grade you can imagine. I don't expect it'll be anytime soon when they're capable of creating stories. But one thing AI is doing pretty good is making images, and particularly images which you would find difficult to find anywhere else. So I'm not suggesting you use it for the interior of your book at all, because linking and creating a whole series of images is a real challenge for AI. But creating one-off images for ads where you want to create something that is Christmas themed, that has books as a Christmas tree, that is something strange, that has rabbits in the Christmas tree, that is something different, for that sort of thing. This is where AI can be useful. And now that it's integrated into ChatGPT, you can create images with a pretty short prompt. Though I do warn you, it can take many, many iterations. That you have to go back. The first time you do rabbits around the Christmas tree, it won't look well. You may have to do 10. But if you keep going, you might get a good one with rabbits around the Christmas tree. That's the only place we're suggesting AI is useful, because we run out of stock images and we may not want to get our designer just to make an image with rabbits around a Christmas tree for our Facebook ad. So that's where AI comes in. And please don't use it for making up stories, because they're not going to be good. We've looked at stories that have been made with AI and they're just not good. You can also use stock images. You can use images from your designer. But if you find that you haven't got one that fits in with your Facebook ad that matches the themes that you've identified, wonderful rabbits and a Christmas tree, then you can use AI to make that. Human design is always preferred. AI images are identifiably AI. So we're using this idea of AI and research and themes to target advertising and promotions. We use platforms where our avatar, our ideal reader, is likely to be active. We use multiple A/B tests. So the idea of an A/B test is you have variation A, which is that image of bunny rabbits around a Christmas tree, because your book is about bunny rabbits and Christmas. And your B variation is the same image, but at night with all the lights on. The A variation might be in the daytime. So an A/B Facebook test is where you have two ads running at the same time. They can actually run later, but two ads, the A variation and the B variation. And you see which of those gets, first of all, the lowest cost per click, but second, the highest number of conversions. So there's various ways of tracking that. If you're sending people to your website, you can also use A variation in week 1 and B variation in week 2, and you can see which of those get the most conversions. One of the standard ways people are doing it now, if you run multiple the versions, multiple A, B, and C, is to track the cost per click as an indicator. It's not a final indicator, the cost per click, but it does give you some information on how people like the ad. So you may have Christmas tree outdoors, your third variation, a different type of room. So this idea of multiple A/B tests is something that many authors, many top-selling authors are doing now. And we can also vary the text. So I've talked about varying the images in the ad, but you can also vary in Facebook ads. You can have variations of the headline, which is at the top, a short sentence, and the description text, which is at the bottom. So you can have ad one, the rabbits around the Christmas tree in the daytime, with headline one appealing to a theme of family togetherness, okay? Or you can have headline two appealing to a theme of children enjoying themselves, young children enjoying themselves. So those are two themes in the headline text, which you can use. And you can then have one image, two headlines, and then you have two images, two headlines, and then you can have descriptions. So you can see, you can have multiple tests to see what is working best. And what is working best will be the most conversions. This type of tactic is what high-selling authors are using. And they're doing very detailed long-term tests to see what are the best ways to appeal to readers and get conversions. And these are people who are selling maybe $10,000 and making $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 a month, really detailed targeting. So this can be done on platforms such as Facebook ads, which is good because you can do all the images there. Amazon ads, you can target different books. We're doing laser targeting, which is targeting individual books. So we have some ads which are right down to just targeting one book, an ad which targets one ASIN. It doesn't do this wide thing of targeting 500 ASINs. We're targeting one ASIN because that book is very similar and has the themes that are appropriate for your ideal reader. So we can do very tight targeting on Amazon. On Instagram, obviously, you can do images as well. Pinterest is really for people in the craft area, and there's some fashion and photography and travel areas within the Pinterest ads, which are useful, but not for general fiction. YouTube ads, generally for people who are doing really well and have other services that they're offering, they want to offer on YouTube. And some people like to do Google ads. We've done Google ads for people, but typically those are people who are offering things like extra training courses on software, for instance, software design. You'd have a book and a training course, and you could buy $1,000 training course. And in those cases, you can pay for Google ads as well if you have a service associated with your books. And some people do really well with those. So those are the different ad platforms. You can use Amazon attribution links, or as I've said, you can switch the ad services. One of the classic problems for marketing people has always been this thing called attribution. Attribution is, where are the sales coming from? How do we attribute the sales? We sold $500 last week. Was that the Amazon ads? Was that the Facebook ads? If it's not clear to you and you don't have a tracking mechanism, the easiest way to do it is you turn something off. So you say, okay, let's just run Facebook ads for a week, and they will know that Facebook ads brought in $400. And then or the next week you can say, okay, let's just do Amazon ads this second week. And then you know Amazon ads brought in $300. So then you know you can, if you do them both together, this is going to be the approximate amount they're bringing in. So this is a way of attributing sales to the advertising platform. So understanding the basics of that is turning things off and on. We can also look at how this applies to social media and content marketing. So the other pillar of marketing, aside from ads and paying for ads all the time, is content marketing. And this is something you can do relatively low cost. You can make things, you can make a website, you can do blog posts, you can create videos and speak to the screen and talk to people. You can do that on YouTube and on TikTok or wherever is appropriate. But keep in mind this idea of focus and the ideal reader. So there's no point in putting it on TikTok if it's going to be watched by teenagers who aren't going to buy the books. The people who buy children's books, for instance, are adults gifting. That's the people who are buying the children's books. I know there are others, and it's not the entire market, but we're looking at the ideal, and the majority of buyers are people gifting books. So there's no point in creating video if it's not going to be targeted to your ideal reader. But if you have a book that is appropriate, you could make YouTube videos or other videos or put things on a website. If you're supporting people who are challenged in some way, you may want to make videos about the challenges that those people face and create a whole series of videos. That would be content marketing for people who have a challenge, and the people associated with them, the parents, guardians, or whoever else is involved with those people, will also see those videos, and that can support your books, which is about that particular area. So that's how you would do video. Where are you? Okay, tailor your social media posts, text images to this ideal reader, and include overlapping themes in your books. You include the themes in your book. More examples. I know I've been promising that, but they're coming. This can help engage your audience with the themes that they enjoy. Okay, so we're looking, it's not going to be based on what we like, but what the ideal reader wants. Let's see if the next slide comes up. Okay, when you're making your landing page or website, you can make sure that that is targeted to your avatar. And you could even give away a chapter or two, or even an entire book. If you have a series, then you can give away an entire book. Series are great for getting a good return on investment. Typically, the people who give away a single book are the one who've got 5 or 7 books in a series, and they want to get somebody reading, and they're going to buy the other 6 books. And as you can imagine, if someone buys the other 6 books, you make your money back relatively quickly. If you've only got 1 book, you can't give it away. So we want to encourage you, if you have any possibilities of a series, to think about that. You can think about community building by participating or creating an online community where similar books are discussed. So you could create a Facebook group, for instance, which is about your subject area, which could be, what's the link between bunnies and Christmas? And there may be a link between bunnies and Christmas. So you could talk about that subject, or some challenge that your readers are facing. You can create online forums, even all the way out to Reddit or TikTok or X, by using hashtags. You can talk about those themes. And there are various new services coming up on those. I know there's questions about TikTok, but in some cases it will be appropriate. An example, analysis, a holiday season book, demographics. Okay, so you've written this down, primarily parents and relatives, likely age between 25 and 95, who enjoy reading to children or gifting. Family status for this person. Okay, so we're doing an analysis of this, the avatar, the ideal reader for a holiday season book. Likely to be parents, especially those with young children. That's going to be their family status. So we're trying to get ourselves in the heads, in the shoes, that marketing tactic, get in the shoes of your client, especially those with young children, grandchildren, including families with special needs. That's the family status. Interests. Readers who enjoy light-hearted, humorous stories that can be shared with children. Okay, they likely appreciate books that offer a mix of fun and meaningful content. So this particular holiday season book mixes fun with meaningful content, which can be enjoyed by both adults and children. An example again, more data on the avatar, the themes, fans of Christmas tales, humor. So there's humor in the book, and family-centric. It's family-centric. This story appeals to those looking for uplifting and joyful reads during the holiday season. So we keep in mind the things, the themes that people, ideal readers, are interested in, as well as books that are inclusive and considerate of children with diverse needs. Visual preferences, likely visual preferences of your avatar, bright, engaging illustrations that capture the attention of children, including those who are nonverbal or on the autism spectrum. Artwork that is colorful and vivid, contributing to humor and warmth of the story. Location, Geographic, primarily in regions where Christmas is widely celebrated, potential global audience, but probably mainly in the United States, given the universal appeal of Santa Claus and holiday festivities. More analysis of the avatar. Their values. So the avatar will be individuals who value inclusivity, especially in children's literature, and are supportive of books created with special needs children in mind. Community engagement. So this is for a book. Remember, you've written a book which is applicable for children in special needs. So your avatar is going to be someone who's interested in this type of book. So you're trying to get an understanding of the values that your ideal reader will have. Community engagement, likely to be active in parenting groups, advocacy communities, or online forums where parents share resources and book recommendations. So we're starting to get an understanding of where these people will be online. And these are the people we're going to target. Suggested images for marketing. To align with the preference of their ideal reader, visuals can include bright, festive Christmas scenes, showcasing the humorous search for a missing item, perhaps in the story, vibrant colors, inclusive and diverse characters. So we're looking at our themes to design ads and to design our website and to design our social media presence. So this is about using the avatar to inform all of our promotional activities. So if you're thinking of creating a website, Twitter channel, a YouTube video, this is how the avatar, an understanding of your avatar and the images that they are likely, will appeal to them, will inform all of your marketing decisions. So you can include inclusive and diverse characters, children of various abilities, highlighting inclusivity, and also talk about family reading and have visuals of family reading moments. Families reading together, laughing, enjoying the holiday spirit. These will resonate with the target demographics, values, and interests. So that's quite a detailed 3 or 4 page avatar analysis of the ideal reader for that book. Here we've got an example in action. This is adult. Well, the main character is 15. Okay, so in this book, the main character is 15, but it's pitched as an adult book. And the reason I'm showing this is because we can find some of the themes highlighted here in the yellow text. If you can't see it, I'm going to read some of these out. So this is historical fiction. The main character is 15-year-old. So you can see that the publisher of this book, this is a big, famous author, traditionally published author, and the publishing team for this book are focusing on themes within the text. So they're not talking about the story that much, but they're focusing on the themes that will compel people to buy a book. So if you're interested in strong-willed main characters, you can see the first thing I've highlighted there is a strong-willed heiress. Now, people can make decisions to buy a book simply based on that sentence, a strong-willed heiress. That's enough for people to buy the book. They don't need to know the other stuff. There are some people who love books about strong-willed main characters, and a strong-willed heiress sounds even more interesting, so it's just hit the buy button straight away. It's a theme, and the publishers, marketing people are focusing on themes, okay? As you can see, the second one says she's just 15 years old. I don't know if that's even allowed to get married at 15. I suppose it depends on what your state you're in. But anyway, Amazon allows books, and the presentation is a historical fiction. Let's move on swiftly. She's in a world of treacherous court politics. So some people will like that theme, treacherous court politics. If we didn't catch you on the strong-willed heiress, maybe the theme of a treacherous politics that you are involved in, maybe that'll catch you. So that's a theme. This is a comp author who is using themes. So why would I want to know this? I'd want to know this so if there's an overlap, if my book has a strong-willed female main character, I should focus on this. I should say it clearly early on, okay? So your book may be completely different and may have completely different things in it, but this is how you look for the overlap. So this theme may appeal to people and get them to click the buy button quickly. The next thing is dangerous secrets. So some people will be compelled to buy and interested in this theme of dangerous secrets. Moving on, she's robbed of her freedom. So someone being robbed of her freedom, that's a theme people are interested in. So this, obviously, it has to actually happen in your book. The themes have to actually happen. But you can see where we're getting an overlap and where you can use the same professional marketing tactics that big publishers are using to get people to click the buy button. Robbed of her freedom, her life, her children's hanging in the balance, okay? So this is another theme, people's lives hanging in the balance, okay? So think about when you read your comp authors from big publishers, think about the themes that they're using within the text description. It's really important. What are they using to get people to click the buy button? And the final one here is, will she pay for her husband's mistakes, or will she manage to escape from a terrible fate? Okay, so that's the hook. That's we don't know what's going to happen. Our curiosity is inspired by that. So that is this one. How are we doing? Okay, so I just wanted to show you a Facebook ad setup. Okay, Facebook ad setup. This is where a book ad is on the right. You can see images for this ad, and you can see on the left the primary text. There are various alternatives. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got different text being used here. One woman's destiny begins. A woman rises, a young woman's fight for justice, swept into a world of treachery. So you can see how it's using the themes that the other major author was using to get people reading, clicking the buy button. The Facebook ad, this is the ads manager dashboard where you create the Facebook ads. So you're putting in text, you've got images that associate, and you can have other images as well. This is a very limited view of the images being created in Facebook. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Why use avatar targeting? Incorporating this model gives you a deep understanding of target subgenre themes and creates a powerful tool of book marketing. So we get it straight into our heads. What it is, who it is we're targeting, and how that can influence all of the different aspects of our book promotion. We're not looking to target 20 different communities. We're looking to target the community most likely to buy. By aligning our book, and it can inform our cover, it can inform our website, our ads, our description, lots of things. But by aligning your book with themes resonating in the market, so you can see that those themes, historical fiction themes, they clearly resonate in the market because that author is doing very well, sells tons of books, literally. And their marketing people for that publishing company are using those themes because they know they work. They are, and they get paid only when the books sell. The books must sell. So they have people with decades of experience who are saying to them in the meetings, make sure you focus on this, make sure you focus on that, bring out these themes in your description, make sure it's focused, because they know it's a very competitive business. They want the themes that sell books to come out. As you can see from that description, it didn't say much about the story, but it really focused on the themes, the things that get people to buy. So you can significantly enhance your book's appeal to your target audience by focusing those overlapping themes. Successful book marketing is about connecting with your readers on a level that resonates with them. spending your time, which is money, because your time is worth money, and your money targeting ideal readers is recommended. Avatar targeting will help you do that. So that's it. That's my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you think about your ideal readers.
That's fantastic. It's so much more important than we even realize when we're going through this. And getting that alignment is so critical. There are some things I think would be easy for most of the authors here to do. But when you start talking about the technical side of things and doing Amazon ads and all that other stuff and Facebook ads and A/B testing, I think some hearts start to beat a little bit harder and think, there's no way I can do this. So how do you help authors to get to that level? Or how can they use you as a collaborator to help them better understand what's going to work for their target audience?
We do provide services for this. I don't like selling them because I don't want this to be a selling service. If you go to Books Go Social, you'll see those. We do Facebook ads, Amazon ads. What's really important is that the author is willing to test things, doesn't need to spend $50 and get a result tomorrow. It's important. For instance, we're thinking now about the holiday season market coming up at the end of this year. Can we move books slowly up, get their ads working, test multiple things now so that we're ready for the holiday season market? The important thing when you're considering this, first of all, unfortunately, you need a budget and you need to have patience. You can learn things by reading books, but some people don't have the time. There are books on Amazon about understanding Amazon ads and Facebook ads, and I know you do training on things as well, and there's training courses on Amazon as well. So it's not a requirement that you take on board somebody like us, but we're there for people who have the money and want to and have the patience to try multiple things and want to get a professional company to do it for them.
And with expert experience or actually trying to figure this out, you have to go in, if I'm understanding you correctly, you've got to go in knowing that you're going to pay and you're willing to pay for data collection and gaining knowledge about your target audience and what resonates best with them. Because all the research that we do for our target audience is wonderful, but if you don't, it may result in you understanding the themes, but what about messaging? What messaging is going to speak to them? And, how do you put a lot of people through and test a lot of people? It's ads, right? You have to be willing to spend that money, or I should say, consider it an investment in your future growth. So would you agree that that is the right mindset to have, Larry?
Yes. The Amazon have very cleverly constructed a system where you can put the book up for free on Amazon, yes, but your book will be buried under several million others and never be seen. So if you want your book to be seen, you really have to pay to do Amazon ads. You can learn to do them yourselves or follow April's courses, take time, or you can come to a company like Books Go Social and we can do our best for you. The problem, of course, for books is they don't all sell well, and that your mileage varies, which is probably the most difficult part of this business, is that some books to sell like hotcakes. They come in and we run the ads for them and they sell immediately. And the books just, people want to buy them. And there's something going on in the zeitgeist, people just want to buy them. And then another book comes in and we think, wow, that looks good too. But it's slightly off. There's something slightly off about the book. The subject matter is wrong. This is why really be careful when you're designing your book. And I know April helps with this. When you're designing your book, so this is bringing the avatar thing right back to designing your book. When you're designing your book, so I'll give an example, okay, which is we had somebody whose children's book where the friends killed each other, okay? Now, I didn't like that at all, okay? I don't think that's I couldn't advise them to do any ads for that where the friends kill each other. I know it's reality and there are places where people kill each other, but I know too that people buying books for gifts. They want uplifting. They want to have a nice time. They don't want to be explaining the murderous facts of life. Well, that's most people. I know you'll get a few who'll be interested in explaining the murderous facts of life. There's some on that. But that's an example of when you're designing your book, when you're thinking about what's my next book going to be, think about, so you want to make it the same as the best-selling books, children's books, nice theme, happy, but different, the same but different. Okay, so it's the same. It's a nice, happy theme, but there's something different. You're introducing new characters. You're introducing diverse themes. You're introducing new themes into an old favorite. So those books, and you'll see those come out all the time from the big publishers because they know what sells. So that's how to start from the beginning. But also be aware that mileage may vary. If sometimes books, they just won't sell. So please be aware of that. So that's why we cap the spending. We say, okay, spend a couple of $100. With somebody recently spent a couple of $100. Nobody would buy the book. So they said, will we give you more money? And I said, no, we don't want any more money. You did a test. You're going to have to go back to the beginning. I suggested they write a different book. So that's the reality. A book isn't selling, but it needs a budget. You need to give it a budget, and hopefully you'll be in that category of books that start selling reasonably well, that can do even better. We have people who've been working with us for years, and their Facebook ads haven't stopped for years. So your mileage may vary, and please be aware of that and start from the beginning to get your themes right.
We have a question in the chat here. When it comes to using images for Facebook ads, is it better to use images with real people interacting with the book, or images with characters from your book or excerpts from your book?
It's better to think about the themes from your book. So rather than saying, I want it to be real people, my children reading the book, think about what are the themes in your book that are important for that image. Is it a book that is shared by a family reading together? So I don't mind who is going to be reading the book as long as it shows a family reading the book together. That is the key thing in the ad. Are you resonating with the theme in your book, with the important theme in your book, whatever that may be? So I don't think it's important that it's people real people. You've got to make sure that anyone you're using, of course, has given you permission to use it. Stock images, you've got to make sure you buy the stock image. Please don't use images off the internet ever. You can get in serious trouble for doing that. I know Getty Images have a team of people going around tracking people down who use their images without permission. So you get a stock image, a copyright image you own yourself, but make sure it aligns with your themes. I hope that answers your question.
And you're okay with AI images as well in the
AI images. You've got to make sure you're using the best AI images. You've tried multiple times, but we use AI images, and they get good click-through rates, but they've got to be good quality. We use ChatGPT, which is the DALL-E, which has good quality images if it's prompted correctly.
Leslie is asking, what is a reasonable amount to start with for a budget for this kind of testing?
You should be thinking about $500 as a test. And that includes some money for the management fee, or you do it yourself, $500. So you don't want to start with $50 because you're not getting enough data, which is what April was talking about. You need some data. So $500 is a reasonable start point, and you're looking to get some sales. Okay, so you spend 500, get zero. You could go back to the book. That's what we do. Go back to the book. What's off about the book? Do you get 200 back or 400 back or 600 back? But if you're getting money back, you're starting to get 400 back. If that gives you a good point where you can say, okay, I need to adjust things. We need to refine the targeting and change the messaging, because you can improve a 400 and get it into a 600, but very hard to improve a zero.
To add upon that question, how long should they expect this testing to last in order to get some really good data?
2 months is probably okay. Amazon ads take a month to get going in any case. So with Amazon ads, it's 2 months, and it really depends on the genre for Amazon ads. Some books do really well. Facebook ads, again, you're looking at, it takes about a week or two to get going, but you can be spending pretty fast. It'll spend faster. So usually you would allow about 2 months.
One of the questions I have, Laurence, when I launched my first book, I remember feeling very confused about who the right avatar was. Now, this first book of mine was about my little Labradoodles, right? And I was in a number of Labradoodle communities, and I'm a fanatic about my Labradoodles. And of course, when I told them I was writing a book, they were all excited and they wanted to be part of it. And at first they purchased the book. So I had this like, oh, well, people that love Labradoodles are going to love my books. But then there's, it was a great for kids and for families. And then I was like, and it has this theme and it has that theme and it has this theme. And I was kind of all over the place. How do you work through something like that as a new author?
Yeah, that's a really good one. So I think looking at what your comp authors are doing will help. So if you look for a Dachshund or Alsatian, you've got the first Labradoodle book. But if you look at what the other authors are doing, that can help. So you're modeling yourself on the successful ones. So you'll find somebody with Alsatians, German Shepherds, whatever they call them now, the biggest book in that area. Where are they online? So you get the author's name and you do a Google search for that author and you see that they're in communities. They're in local dog communities. They're in Facebook groups about dogs. They're in this. So then you can say, oh, okay, that's the sort of way. This is way, but they're not on TikTok. And so I don't need to be there. And they're not on Twitter. I don't need to be there. So you can do that. That's why the comp authors things helps.
I think it's probably very common when you're first getting started trying to do this research that it can be really overwhelming. So for the mastermind folks here, I will invite you to come and bring your questions because I've got the Wednesday Q&As at 8:00 Eastern. Like, bring it. Let's like actually go through some of the comp research and things so that we can get used to doing some examples. And these mastermind sessions are a great opportunity to raise your hand and ask those questions. Hey, I'm having trouble with my analysis. Can we look at it together? And if you've got a mentor or you've got, you're looking for some help, whether it's from Books Go Social, from the stuff that I do with you authors, we're here to help. And we kind of bring a fresh set of eyes that maybe can identify something that you wouldn't because you're too close to it. So, honest feedback and someone that's going to tell you the truth and guide you in the right direction so that you're not wasting a whole bunch of money or hearing, getting a lot of people just agreeing with whatever approach you're using and not kind of expanding and using the level of experience that you really need to guide you. So I would just make sure you feel comfortable with the investment and that you've got some expert guidance if you're not already feeling like, hey, I've got this. I've been doing this for a while. I'm plugged into my people. And I highly recommend checking out what Books Go Social does because I'm not a Facebook ad expert at all. And I'm going to be chatting with you, Laurence, about getting into some of that for my own upcoming books and things that I want to do. So I'll be setting up some time to chat with you about that as well. That's a perfect example. When you're not an expert, find an expert to help you because you're going to save so much more money and learn from them and learn and see what they do and get that guidance and grow your knowledge because as authorpreneurs, we need that. We need that extra knowledge. Laurence, we have been very blessed to have you here today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure meeting everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of it. And thank you, April. I'll see you soon.
Okay? Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.